ペシャルゲストをお迎えしてます、ゲームクリエイターのピエール滝さんです。
セイントおじさん。セイントおじさん。解散した時来たからね。まあね。
生で見れるセイント
ね、軽く懐かしもうかな。もうね、でもさ、ゲームクリエイターっていうことで来てんのに今回はね。そうなんだね。なんかこの前はだって見たらさ、
ホール外しだけど、名前が変わって人気レスラーっていう名前に変わるんだけど。
プロレスね。ホール。やってるのか。なんか
すごい。丸ボタンで。
なんか見たことある。
自分やられるから。はい、来た。
わあ、何どうすればいいの？どうすればいいの？
丸ボタンを押すだけ。あ、ダメ。ほら、ギリギリゴミ投げられる。
ああ、ごめん。
ゴミ投げられる。
もっと盛り上げて。
よっしゃー、来た、はい。
ワン、ツー。すごい。間違えた。
レアヒヨコ出た。
何これ？これどうすればいいの？
それはリボンがついてないから押す。
なんかプロフェット。
何？
なんか見たことない。
ないよ。これで何点出すやつがいいのかっていうのを。
いいね。信じられないぐらい。全国大会。早い。さすがバイト長。早い。
すげえ。気持ちいいね見ててもね。
このぐらいでバーやって
マジですか？仕様ですかこれ？
バグ今のバグこれ文句来ちゃうこれ
あれがだって900本目とかに出たら泣くよね。
そうね。合言
葉は念力裁縫。君の念力で目が飛び出る。目が飛び出おばちゃん、念力天才少年としも同級生の目を飛び出させてしまう。どうしよう。念力裁縫。
線で遊んでみました。
はい、ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
バイトヘル。バイトヘル。2000!
Welcome to part 2 of my Denki Groove Byte Hell 2000 Work Time Fun Retrospective. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll link it in the description down below. If you want the TLDR, here's a quick recap. Back in 1998, Sony published a DJ simulation minigame compilation in Japan called Denki Groove Jigoku 5, based off the music and possible input of the synth hip-hop duo Denki Groove. While the game was centered on the DJ simulation, and seriously the manual is 44 pages long, a game was built around it that consisted of 9 mini-games that had you doing temp jobs in hell to earn money. These games were memorable, at least for me, for being zany, weird, and creepy. With that said, let's jump forward 7 years. It's 2005. Nu metal is still relevant and YouTube is but a mere zygote. Out of left field, trailers for this new game being developed by D3 publisher and Sony started popping out onto sites like GameSpot. This just wasn't any game though, this was Groove Jigoku. And Denki Groove's Pierre Taki was directing the game too? I saw this as an absolute win. The game is known by a couple of names. According to Wikipedia, the game is translated to, and pardon my white stank on the translation here, Baito Heru Nissen, which, as Wikipedia says, byte means arbeit, a Japanese word for job. However, the game is more commonly known as Byte Hell 2000. The game was released on December 22nd, 2005, and with that, I couldn't resist buying into an import on day one. Byte Hell 2000's story remains largely the same from Groove Jigoku 5. Once again, you're stuck in hell and need to take on part-time jobs to make money to fuel your addiction to 90s Japanese loot crates. So once you've entered your name and information, you'll be taken to this bland-looking console menu where you can choose to go to the temp agency, go to the vending machines. There's also a message center and a cantina where all the new multiplayer challenges can be found. All but one of the old mini-games are here, present and accounted for, albeit with a few changes. But more on that later.
So your main goal has now shifted from buying eggs to complete puzzles to the gotta catch 'em all mindset of collecting the hundreds of trinkets, tools, and mini-games the vending machines will provide you. That's right, the vending machines are back, and this time there's more of them with multiple tiers and increasing prices and rarity. So why the shift from avoiding these trinkets to collecting them? Well, thanks to the then new PSP technology, you could trade with friends through an ad hoc network connection to try to complete your collection. Sort of like a Pokédex of sorts. Now, thankfully, we didn't have to stick with the Japanese import for long. It wasn't terrible, it's just that some of the games were unplayable due to my lack of knowing Japanese.
キムチ盛り合わせ。あと、激辛ウーロン茶。オレンジ風ジュース。以上で。
On October 17th, 2006, we were lucky enough to get an American release of the game under the perfectly marketable and descriptive title of WTF, or Work Time Fun for short. Something I still thank D3 for to this day.
Yes.
You've come by. Thanks for coming by.
No problem.
We've got Work Time Fun. This is the game. We've shown this game several times on the show before.
Yes.
It was called Byte Hell 2000 in Japan.
Yes.
And it's crazy.
And it's crazy, and now it's in English.
That
you can
is
understand
really
the
helpful.
craziness. Now you can understand the craziness.
Show me some of the
before-
craziness that I might not have figured out before.
No problem. The whole point of the game is that you're performing these tasks or these kind of mini jobs to earn money, which then you can use to buy things like new jobs, little trinkets, collectible items, all kinds of weird things. And then you go back, do more jobs. Really like life, Earn money, spend it on crap, earn more money. So I'll just get into some of the jobs because that's what everybody wants to see anyway. So,
What do you got for us here?
well, each one of these jobs really acts as a mini game.
Okay.
So you're going to get, really easy to play, kind of fun mini game that is just very much, along the lines of just silliness, randomness, and what have you. Run like heck. This is a good one. So in this job, you're actually supposed to kind of lure this animal, this beast, out of this cave. And you actually do that by running away from it after dropping some meat by it. The great thing about it is it likes to eat people, mainly your little sunglasses wearing guy here. All right, so here I'm going to drop off my meat, and that didn't sound good. But now I'm just going to run. Oh, that's not good.
You want to get past that.
This one is hard.
Yeah, I can never beat this one.
So here, for example, I'm just hitting the button furiously, and now see, this monster's chasing after me. And this is not going to be good.
Oh!
That's usually what ends up happening.
That is brutal.
So now I'll get a paycheck, $0. Apparently,
I like that they bothered to cut the check, though.
These are little kind of utilities that you can use on your PSP. I'll show you these in a second, but they basically add a little bit of functionality to your PSP. The tools do.
Did I just say Bishop's Game?
It did.
That is awesome.
That's a great name.
That is
Best Japanese
Yes.
English.
Pretty much everybody will get that. And the appropriate, meat grinding sound when you stab yourself in the,
That's unpleasant.
in the finger.
I have a question.
What's
Yes.
your question, Rich?
Our first question is from Russell Sherman. He's in Connecticut. He wants to know, is the Ramen Timer in the game?
The Ramen Timer is in the game, and I think that sounds like a request. So
Yes. Let's give it a.
I think we'll show the Ramen Timer.
look.
Work time, bump ba dum bump. Work time, bump ba dum bump. Work time, bump ba da. Work time, fun.
Finally! Everything in English. Everything made sense now. Like some sort of Rosetta Stone for the entire series. Hell, it even helped me go back and play the old Denki Groove game to make sense of it all.
Kimchi platter. How many?
Also, coffee. How many?
Cream soda.
Mixed parfait, also. Mixed parfait, also. Mixed parfait.
That's all.
Despite the somewhat basic menu, the spirit of the original game is still here. The amount of minigames have increased exponentially from the original 9 to 40. While you only have a handful of minigames available to you at the start, you'll be able to quickly unlock more from the cheaper vending machines to help you work your way up to the middle tier without getting bored. The Job Demon is still here to give you jobs, as are some of his less charming counterparts. As I teased earlier, 8 of the original 9 games are back, such as Copycat, Mushroom Crossing, Cliff Race, and You Betcha Ballpin Factory's back. The Japanese release even acknowledges canon and calls these games sequels, despite most of them being the same. The title screens are similar, except someone used their best MS Paint skills to put a 2 on all the titles, which I think is brilliant. Some changes were made in the conversion, most likely due to copyright issues. Copycat's robots have been changed into bug-eyed furry things that seem to produce even more burpy residue than their mechanical counterparts. Even more changes came to the North American Work Time Fun release. For instance, Cliff Racer's Mario is completely missing and replaced with another donkey with antlers. Doom Guy got goggles put on him to avoid a lawsuit, and a reference to the movie Rocky was removed from one of the new minigames.
Wow, well, is that a Powerpuff Girl or something?
No, can you not see if she has a mohawk and wheelchair? We're not getting sued.
On the flip side, Mushroom Crossing adds some decorative mushrooms and bubble effects for each shroom collected, which is a nice touch to compensate for the PSP's wider screen. The newer games offered still provide a Twitch gaming experience, as you can complete any of them in 10 minutes or less. Almost every game is based on skill or a time limit, making sure you're back at the job demon looking for something new in no time. It's essentially the perfect contract worker sim.
Now, I debated a lot on how I should tackle 40 games for a video without getting burned out on the whole thing. I definitely don't want to bore you with the painstaking details of every game offered here, but I'd still like to do this compilation of games justice. So, as a compromise, I'd like to touch on some of the highlights of WTF and maybe touch on some of the things that don't deserve a lot of time. At least in my opinion, that is. I'm no Watch Mojo.
Chick sorting has you sorting chickens by boys, girls, or, stillborns, with a 10-minute time limit. As the chicks come in, press the corresponding button to sort them into the correct box. Occasionally you'll get some rare special chicks that have crazy hairdos or costumes that'll get you a bonus. Accidentally sorting chicks into the wrong box will come out of your paycheck, and don't even dare throw a live chick into the dead bin. Demonstration Roundup is a concept you might have seen in other games as the woefully underrated The Last Guy, or Sega's Flicky to a lesser extent. You play as a demonstrator collecting protesters to gather in the park that acts as a safe point. You'll need to wander around to bring them out of their homes and direct them to the park in the center of the map while avoiding riot cops. The larger the crowd you gather and return safely, the more money you'll make. I honestly find this game pretty addicting, and it's one of my favorites on this compilation. It's not too hard, and the squeaks of the protesters are pretty endearing in the end. 8 out of 10, arbitrary score.
We firmly stand in opposition.
Who's riding so late where the winds blow wild? Is it the father grasping his child? He holds the boy embraced in his arm. He clasps him snugly. He keeps him warm. My son, why cover your face in such fear? You see the Elf King, father? He's near, the king of the elves with crown and train. My son, the mist is on the plain. So, this one is deep even by Work Time Fun standards. Based off the poem The Elf King by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, you're a father taking his demonically possessed child to get cured of his sickness. You play as said father riding his horse through the night, avoiding obstacles both natural and supernatural to get to the midway point and hopefully to the end with the child still alive. While by the numbers on the surface, the presentation of the weird kid staring at you and expressing his continued hallucinations and the soundtrack both help to set this game apart. If you've played Temple Run at any point in your life, you'll probably get a kick out of this. Now father, he's seizing my arm. Elf King has done me a cruel harm. The father shudders, his ride is wild. In his arms he's holding the groaning child. Reaches the court with toil and dread. The child he held in his arms was dead. So there are 3 variations of private number, so consider this a threefer? Threesome? You've got 3 different flavors to choose from: basic, deluxe, and executive.
Jesus Christ, they sound like Costco memberships.
The game starts with some stats on the girl you're talking to, including her favorite number. With the info provided, it's up to you to guess the last 4 digits of her phone number by guessing the right numbers and order. You have a limited number of guesses, and she'll give you hints with miscellaneous grunts, oohs, and ahs. If you manage to guess correctly, well, congratulations! Now let's try to give her a call.
This number is no longer in service.
Drunken Mayor is a definite standout, due to the premise alone and the fact that it's one of the only 3D rendered games here. You're a mayor, you like to pregame, and you like to party. Unfortunately, you've got multiple grand openings today to celebrate, and you just can't help yourself. Cut the ribbon successfully to move on to the next grand opening. As the day goes on, things get more tense and more tipsy. I'm sorry, can I just stop right here and appreciate that the statue dedication is of a man in a shot glass, by the way? At some point, war is declared and you're on your ass. It's up to you to press the big red button. Can we depend on the Drunken Mayor? Three count is a game of timing where you need to kick out of a perfect plex before the 3 count. The closer you get to 3, the bigger the crowd will pop. The more you impress the crowd, the more you're paid. Be careful though, there are 2 different referees that count at different speeds and you'll need to adapt to each. Just remember, Bald Ref counts slower than Swarthy Ref. Caddy's quest is the ultimate time waster. You're a caddy that's been hired to find balls at the golf course. Search the ground using a grid-based control system and press any button to pick up a ball, and you're paid for the amount you find. Some balls are special and worth more. Here's one weird bit of trivia about this game. The Japanese version has more items to find and pick up, such as extra yen, train tickets, and bus passes. However, the frequency of finding balls seems to be much better in the American release. Still, I think it's strange that they decided to take all of the Japan out of a game that they advertised as being weird and Japanese in the first place. Bouncer Bash has you playing a bouncer who bounces the world's most obsessive fans away from the band on stage. You could grab up to 2 fans at a time and throw them to combo into other people running at the stage. You'll also need to save people about to pass out in the front row. Energy drinks will drop that will let you perform a super throw that you can throw at fans that have already made it to the stage. Wet towels will appear that will hinder your progress, and once all the band members are dead, it's game over. Bouncer Bash is definitely in my top 5 favorites on this comp. It's fun, it's quick, and you just want to keep playing it. 9 out of 10 arbitrary score.
Welcome!
Ready to Order is an interesting one. Completely unplayable for me in Japanese, I was excited to try this one out. This is one of those mini-games where you need to turn your PSP vertically for the full experience. The customer experience, that is. Live a moment in a customer-facing job as you take orders and deal with indecisiveness and weird dishes like squid rice and cow tongue burgers. Customers will order, go back on their decisions, ask if others want the same thing, and other little tricks to throw you off. It's up to you to make the order correct, and it turns out to be a surprisingly fun game in the end. Buddha Quest is a game of strategy and survival dressed in its best Dragon Quest cosplay. You've got to defeat 100 Buddhas in a row and survive till the end. The game is completely random, using a RNG roguelike experience that will have you trying again and again to get further, or hope for some better luck the next time around, if you're into that kind of thing, which I totally am. You don't have to defeat all 100 Buddhas though. You're able to duck out at any time using a return scroll, and based on how many idols you did defeat, you'll receive a reward off of the end game prize board. Defeated enemies drop items to help you stay alive longer. These consist of the usual herbs and antidotes to magic scrolls to actual equipment to increase your stats. Ironically enough, as simple as this is one of my most favorite games of this compilation. Maybe it's because I like roguelikes, but it's simple, it's fun, and most of all, it pays very well. But I'm already skirting on making this a PowerPoint presentation as it is. The game is out in the wild and can be fetched at a good price. Find it and play it. As you complete games, unlock more games, and get better at the existing games, you'll receive email updates to your virtual account. It looks like you have a couple of friendly coworkers that will email you their experiences and accomplishments, or you'll get an email from the head office when you reach specific milestones, which will earn you titles. Vending will also unlock tools that are designed to take advantage of the mobile PSP hardware. These tools range from a flashlight with a range of colors and a strobe light to some impromptu crazy eyes. You'll also find the infamous Ramen Timer in both male and female forms. Just set your water to a boil, set the timer, and be entertained by Muscle Muscle.
Let's Ramen Timer start! 準備はええのか? Are you ready? 1分経過を祝してマッスル337拍子よ
ー。そろそろ1分経つわよ。熱々のラーメン想像してみて。ツルツルツルツルツルツルツルツルシコシコしてる。
ピクピクピクピクピクピクピクピクピクピクピクピクピクありがとうございました。
3分経過。いよいよ終盤戦。私のダンスを見てて。ワンツーワンツーワンツーワンツーワンツー。
お、4分経過。マッスルマッスルマッスルマッスル。もう4分経ってるぞ。マッスルマッスルマッスルマッスルマッスルマッスル。おお、ラストスパート。あと1分だ。
4分経ちました。もう少しの我慢よ。もう生活なんだから。もう一回聞くわよ。私とラーメンどっちが好き？はっきりしてよ。っていう。
はあはあはあはあ。お、マッスルマッスル。あはあはあ。
っていうか
はいはいはいはいうんうんうんうん。
5、4、3、2、1、ドカーン。さあ、召し上がれ。ボナペティ。
There's also a counter that'll help you count miscellaneous things. It also has a sexy setting. I mean, why wouldn't you? Matchmaker's the ultimate hookup tool. Everyone throws their names in and the PSP is passed around, where you can choose to tell someone that you think they're cute, or you can just let them know that the others suck.
So finally, the entire Denki Groove, Work Time Hell, Byte Hell. So there it is, the entire series wrapped up for you, all in a nice little package. Bye!
Hello there, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to rate this video 5 stars, give me a subscribe, and feel free to leave me a video response. I enjoy getting the feedback, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them.